Now, I think it would be a safe assumption that Donald Trump is probably not studying the original Hebrew of Scripture, but he has been following a template without knowing of Jehu. Jehu was a wild man, impulsive. You never knew what he was going to do or say. If they had tweeting back then, I'm sure he would have been tweeting. But you never knew. He was wild. He rose to the throne in the time of the nation's fall from God. He made an alliance with the religious conservatives of the land to get power. He came to power after defeating the nation's former first lady. And then he entered the capital city with an agenda to drain the swamp. Jehu's reign was framed by an event in the nation's capital. It was this. He called for an assembly in the capital city. On that day, those who supported him laid siege to a building in the capital. A great capitol building. It's actually a national temple. On January 6th, President Trump called for an assembly in the capital city. On that day, his supporters laid siege to the nation's Capitol building. At the end of that week, the Capitol Police announced they had arrested those involved. The number of people they publicly announced was, they said, 80 people. In the biblical account of Jehu's supporters who stormed the Capitol, the building in the Capitol, the number in the Bible is given, it was 80 men. The significance of that siege in the reign of Jehu is in the Bible, it represented a victory for Jehu against the temple of Baal and the force of Baal. But in the modern case, it's the opposite. It didn't represent the beginning, it represented the end. It was the victory of the forces of Baal. You see, on that day, a new government was voted into power that endorsed the killing of children, Baal. The ways of immorality, Baal. The encroaching of God's people, Baal. We are now living in the days of the reign of Baal.